Today, this is Lena Combs and Tom Durkee. We're CPAs and partners in the firm of Withum, Brown, located in sunny Orlando, Florida. And we appreciate the opportunity to talk to you today about our firm, the services we provide to the vacation ownership industry, and just provide you a little background with what we do, what kind of clients are good for us, and the types of ways we can help your clients provide value and just generally be good service providers and partners to the industry. So we appreciate the opportunity to be here. Thank you very much. As I said, my name is Lena Combs. I've been a CPA for over 25 years and have been working in the hospitality industry for pretty much my entire career. And I'm joined today by my partner, Tom Durkee. He is a practice leader with me in our hospitality niche, which includes our timeshare developers, owners associations, management companies, exchange companies, as well as hotels, condos, high-end residential, and mixed-use type complexes. So we're glad to be here together, and we'll both talk a little bit. As it talks about in our bios here, we are involved with ARDA on a lot of levels. We both serve on several committees and are really participatory in the work that we're doing, and we think that adds value to our clients and to your group by both making us accessible and by providing a deep knowledge of the industry to which we can share with our clients. So just a little bit about our firm. We have over 1,000 staff members in several states. We are located, of course, here in Orlando, Florida, Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, Boston, New York City, and Aspen, Colorado. So those are all of our office locations, with 1,000 people spread amongst that, and we have about 115 people here in our Orlando office. So our hospitality services team, like I said, over 25 years of experience serving the industry, and we have over 300 clients just in this niche, comprised of those different groups that I talked about earlier. And we've really built a reputation for being a go-to leader when it comes to accounting and consulting services around accounting issues in the industry. And like I said, I think part of that is due to our intensive involvement with ARDA and with other organizations, with RCI, through the Affiliate Access Program, some of the lunch and learns we've done there, and through other organizations, client leadership programs, and such. Some of the groups that we belong to, of course, the American Institute of CPAs, the Florida, Hawaii, and New Jersey Institute of CPAs. Tom and I are both licensed in all 3 states. The Association of Certified Fraud Examiners, the National Association of Certified Valuation Analysts, and the Institute of Internal Auditors. Here again, just to reiterate the types of hospitality clients that we serve in our niche. And this would be a good point probably to talk about the types of clients that are best for us. We serve everything from small, independent, legacy resorts, standalone resorts that are self-managed, to large national timeshare developers, and we service their portfolios of HOAs, doing audits, tax returns, and other types of services, which we'll talk about in a minute. The best type of client for us personally is one that has several associations under management. Maybe it could be a management company that has 10 resorts under management. We can provide services to all of those. We can also have a little more competitive pricing because of the economies of scale we get by having sort of one set of controls that we have to look at. So that is a great client for us. Also, any management company itself, exchange companies, developers, obviously not big publicly traded companies, but smaller developers. We service several of those, and we think we can provide a lot of value. Lately, we've been seeing some smaller developers using firms out of other states that really don't have a knowledge of the timeshare industry, and it's created some real problems, especially on the tax side. So we think that's a really good market where we can provide a lot of value to those businesses. Excuse me. So here's some ways we can help. We offer a full suite of services to the industry, obviously traditional financial statement audits, tax compliance services, which would be your annual tax filings for your income tax returns with the federal government and state, if that's applicable. Management transition audits. Sometimes if there's a change in a management company, a board might feel like they wanted an audit done at an interim period to make sure that there wasn't anything wrong during and look through that transition with them. Forensic accounting and auditing. Obviously, if there's fraud or a suspicion of fraud, we could help by coming in and analyzing records and trying to provide solutions. Developer turnover audits, that's more of a Florida issue, but in Florida, if timeshares are organized as condos as well, they have certain turnover rules, so and they have to have an audit for those periods, which is usually in the middle of the year, not right at year end. Proxy and ballot counting services, if a board has a big election, if there's something contentious, if they just need to get a quorum so they can make some kind of vote, we can obviously count proxies and ballots when that need arises. A whole suite of management consulting and advisory services, from software implementation to digital workplace solutions, and the gamut in between. And we'd be happy to talk more about that. And those are also great clients for us, and there's a lot of need coming up in that. The other one is with the new accounting standards coming out. It falls in this genre as revenue recognition. We have gone through a process with several clients where we've helped them go through their revenue recognition processes and identify what changes will be coming with the implementation of the new standards next year. Litigation support is an area that we work in. Board member education. If a board, we find that educated boards are great clients for us. They ask better questions, but they also understand the value of what they're getting. So talking to boards about how to read financial statements, talking to them about certain matters within certain metrics maybe, or benchmarking their own financial results, we like to come in and talk to boards and provide whatever education we can for them. Cybersecurity evaluations, obviously in this age of increasing cyber needs and risks, we have a team that does cybersecurity evaluations that can come in and sort of address where your risks are and help make a plan for going forward, or your client's risk. And then organizational risk assessment, strategic planning, updating that plan, helping brainstorm about what some of the risks are for a resort and organization. So just a couple of case study type matters that have come up through our years in practice. And Tom, maybe you could talk about some consulting and tax matters that you have had come up recently that you think might be a good sort of maybe provide some buzzwords for people to recognize.
Lately, we're seeing a sort of a heightened level of internal revenue service activity in our clients. Not our clients necessarily, but people that are coming to us to ask us to help them because they are having some issues, whether it be helping them recover from some errors that have been made by some sort of less specialized practitioners, or helping those practitioners with those problems, and also representation of our clients and our new clients before the IRS with respect to audits that they're going through. So we're seeing some audit activity by the IRS for the first time in really several years, particularly on the developer side. what we're able to bring there is what we think is some depth that is beneficial to those clients. And I think that's what you'll find in the firm is a depth in this practice area with respect to pretty much all of the areas that of business that they're involved with, but particularly with the regulatory issues, whether it be state regulation, regulation in the form of lender oversight with respect to financial reporting, and obviously issues related to tax representation. We do have a matter going on right now which may be representative of the types of issues that you may see out there with some of your client companies that perhaps we can help with. And that this case relates to a case up in the Northeast where we're assisting a group of companies with accounting method changes, and that involves a case where they were really accounting for their timeshare transactions incorrectly for many, many years, which has the effect of adopting an incorrect method in the IRS's view. So we've identified that issue. We're helping them with the change in accounting method, which is quite complex, but I think it's going to be very beneficial, and the numbers are quite large in terms of the benefit that this will be to them. We're also engaged right now, just in terms of, by way of example, with what we all love to see, which is a new entrant to the industry down in South Florida. And these folks have been developers of other multifamily type properties and leisure properties, but this is their first foray into timeshare. So we're helping them, along with their law firm, get into the business, with everything from assisting with budgets to assisting with setting accounting processes and procedures and educating them really about how to do timeshare accounting and taxation. So the other issue that's hot with us right now is legacy resort issues. Legacy resorts have been sort of the lifeblood of our practice for many years. We have obviously some name branded properties that you're all familiar with, but there's still a lot of legacy resorts in the state of Florida and nationwide. So what our focus has been with respect to the legacy properties is really to try to help them survive. They often need they need folks to help them with financing, and we've been able to provide some references and contacts there that have been favorable for them. They need to have ways to just be successful, to be vital, to not wither because of the turnover in their ownership. We've been active along with RCI in sort of a troubled resorts task force type project where we identified a couple of properties here in Florida to use as sort of benchmarks for the kinds of problems the industry is having. We, as part of a group, have tried to diagnose those properties free of charge, diagnose the problems that the properties are having free of charge, and to provide advice to them that would help them overcome some of the issues that the legacies are having, which primarily relate to the turnover in the owner base, ways to monetize their delinquent owner units, ways to improve collections, and oftentimes just ways to manage the property better financially.
Right. Another area where we think we can provide some value is our knowledge of the rules and guidelines for resorts. And, we have a lot of rules here in Florida that apply to our resorts, but there's also rules across the country in every state. We have access to every state statute, we can help people look into what might be requirements for them. Although we're not attorneys, we certainly don't give legal opinions, so we can sort of help them walk through that. Especially in Florida, our knowledge of the statutes about reserve funding requirements, about tax escrow requirements, those types of things can be very beneficial, and we're often surprised by the things that people don't know. So if they ask questions about those types of things, that's certainly something we can help with. We've provided referrals for other types of service providers. Tom talked briefly. We had a client recently who wanted to do some refurb. They needed to get a loan to do some of that and then fund that over 3 years. So they said that the quotes they were getting weren't really favorable. They weren't really in love with those. So we recommended another bank to them. Since that, they've done 6 or 7 loans at different properties in order to get those refurbishments done. They're thrilled with the terms they've been getting, and the repayments are timed. The bank understands the industry, and it's been a really good relationship for them. So just knowing bankers, attorneys, insurance agents, those types of things that can also be great partners and service providers, and being able to refer those to clients is where we can bring some value. And then thought leadership. Really, we do a lot of thought leadership inside the industry. Our benchmarking study obviously is a big one, and I know that piece is available to you through the affiliate access sort of Dropbox repository of materials that RCI has. But also just writing articles on things like Tom was talking about, terminations of timeshare plans. We recently wrote articles on disaster planning after the storms and the fires over the last couple of years. Resort financial metrics, which we kind of present in a summarized format, and then, for everything from cybersecurity to data analytics and those types of things as well, geared towards the vacation ownership industry. So we think that those are good things. If anybody mentions some of those types of buzzwords, would be clients for us that we could help. This just sort of shows you our benchmarking study. We talked about some of the places where we publish articles. We're happy to provide any of those as part of that repository, or if anybody has any questions, we're happy to provide those to you. So that's pretty much us in a nutshell, not a very short nutshell, but one nonetheless. Our contact information is on there, both phone numbers, our direct dials, our cell phone numbers, our email addresses, and any way you want to contact us would be fine. Any question, no question is too small, and we're happy to help. That's the thing that we like to do best. So people ask us, what differentiates your firm from another? And really, it's the value that we bring to the industry and our willingness to help and our expertise. And so if anything comes up, even if you wouldn't know if it was related or something we would know about, we're happy to try to answer the question or maybe refer someone that we think might know the answer if we don't. So we appreciate your time. We look forward to your questions. Tom, do you have any last comments that you'd like to add?
I would just say that oftentimes people that are not accountants have a hard time determining what the differences are between firms. And when you're in front of your companies and you're trying to figure out who might be able to help them with some kind of an issue, and you really are sitting there looking at your alternatives, your connections, what we would like to proffer in that regard is why us. And the reason for that is we're just really deep in what we do. We feel like we're a pretty nimble group here in our hospitality practice, but big enough so that nobody's going to outgrow us, yet small enough to be nimble enough to handle the smaller groups as well. We're thought leaders in the industry. We're involved in the industry. We're connected with the regulators. We're connected with the industry itself. We're connected with our own standard setters at the AICPA, and we think that all of that provides a compelling value proposition for our clients and our prospective clients.
So with that, we'll look forward to hearing from anyone who has any questions or just wants to reach out and find out more about what we do and how we can help. We appreciate your time. Thanks.